Any day could have been Lucian North's last day on Earth. Doctor's visits, hospital trips, constantly being poked and prodded, a few scares, a ton of scars, a couple of bouts with depression, time in a recovery ward. The doctors had given him 1 year to live, and it had now been 2.5. At least Lucian North had a family that loved him. His brother Connor stopped by all the time to check on him. His mother visited daily with Tupperware containers full of food, oftentimes showing up with Lucian's favorite casserole. His family wanted him to move away from the dangerous neighborhood he lived in near Salem, Massachusetts. But Lucian was stubborn, insistent on living on his own. He liked his independence, however short-lived it may be. It made him feel like he'd actually make it through this, that maybe the doctors and cardiologists were wrong about his prognosis after all. And besides that, he liked to keep his own schedule, including playing Zero Enigma until he fell asleep in front of the television. "Here we go," Lucian whispered to himself as the second-to-last bandit fell, the man's body lit aflame. He'd been playing Zero Enigma for several hours now, lost in a quest that had a ton of working parts. Going after the camp was meant to be a palate cleanser, and as the bandit died, Lucian jammed his thumb on the X button while simultaneously triggering the left joystick, allowing him to do an enhanced attack that finished the final enemy bandit. He was just starting to loot the dead bodies when an old man took shape before Lucian, standing between him and the television. Lucian dropped his controller, his mouth agape. After a break-in at his home while he was in the hospital, Lucian always kept a pistol nearby, especially the times he knew he was going to fall asleep on the couch. As the man took a step toward him, Lucian reached for his pistol. "You can see me?" the elderly man asked, startled. The man's eyes were sunk into his head, his hair long and gray. He wore dark robes, not quite black. His hands clasped together in front of his body, death radiating all around him. "Whoever the hell you are!" Lucian knew his heart wasn't going to make it, but if this was his last day on Earth, if he was approaching the last breath he'd ever breathe, Lucian wasn't going to go down without a fight. The desire to survive was the only leverage he had. "I'm serious," he said, his finger trembling as he clicked the safety off. This is your last chance." A black mist swept into Lucian's living room, seeping under the door and pooling at the corners. The old man quickly drew a sword, seemingly out of thin air, a look of terror racing across his face. A screeching sound met Lucian's ears as more dark mist filled the space. The first creature to solidify wore blackened rags, its face covered with gauze, blood seeping through and pooling around its lips, its mouth visible under a cut in the gauze. And as its jaw began to distend, jagged teeth popping out of its rotting black lips, Lucian changed the trajectory of his pistol from the old man to the entity that was morphing into a goddamn demon. His first bullet tore through the demon's bandaged skull. Lucian's heart contracted as the terrible being fell to the floor, landing at the old man's feet. Panic rising in his chest, he aimed his pistol at the next demon and blew its head off too, splattering the wall with blood. The third came, and Lucian did the same, ending the demon's life with a single bullet. He blew the head off the fourth as another formed in the mist. Lucian only had 2 shots left. The next blindfolded demon came from the kitchen, and even as Lucian's heart threw in its flag, sparking a spasm in his left arm, he still managed to fire on the creature, the demon screeching as the bullet tore through its neck. The final demon stepped out of the mist, and the old man took care of this one, cutting its head off with a swift gesture, faster than Lucian had ever seen any human move.